Hey everyone, this is Elenbaas from Nightlight Astrology. Today we're going to take a look at Mercury Cazimi, sometimes called Mercury at the heart of the sun. This is an exact conjunction between Mercury and the sun that happens during Mercury's retrograde process. It also happens when Mercury is moving direct and crosses the sun. And it has a special meaning in astrology. We're going to discuss that meaning broadly in case it's new for some of you. And we will also be looking at some of the specifics given that this is taking place in the sign of Sagittarius, which is something of a tense or challenging spot for Mercury given the dignity that it has there, as well as the fact that this Mercury Sun conjunction is taking place in an opposition to Jupiter in Mercury's sign. So there's that mutual reception by detriment and opposition at work in the midst of the Cazimi as well. So I'm going to give you 5 things to watch for given all of this and make sure that we take some time to explain the meaning of a Cazimi as well. So that is our agenda for today. Remember to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel to grow. We did some research and found earlier this year that a lot of people watch the channel but are not yet subscribed. And so if you care to do so, it really does help us grow and we really appreciate it. It's free to do so. You can click on notifications to get updated when we have live streams or when new videos post, stuff like that. You can find transcripts of any of these daily talks on the website, which is nightlightastrology.com. As you know, we are in the midst of our annual Kickstarter campaign with a backer goal of 1,937 backers by January 1st. We're trying to rally the support for the channel and all of the production of free content in the year ahead. At the end of today's video, you can hear about the rewards that are available when you support the channel. There's a little video attached explaining all of the reward tiers, and we have some really unique gifts that we offer when you donate. For example, we have 50% all the way up to 75% off our programs, our online courses. When you bundle some of them together, you can save even more. All sorts of exclusive lectures and readings and talks, masterclass series, archived masterclass series, all sorts of really good stuff on sale through the Kickstarter. Helps us support our work in the channel. You can go over to the Kickstarter link. It's the link is in the description of this video. It is in the comments section of this video, or you can go to the website, nightlightastrology.com, and click on the 2025 Kickstarter link. Press back this project, scroll down, and you'll find all the rewards listed and explained here as well. And at the very bottom, you'll find those class bundles that are our most popular offering. We only offer this sale price on the courses once yearly during the Kickstarter, and they are good for any of our programs in 2025 or beyond. You can redeem them whenever you'd like. They last forever, and you can use them again anytime in 2025 and beyond. So really good deal there. During this time of year, I like to take a moment to reflect on what I think is valuable about this channel and about the content, and reflect on it in the hopes that if you also find this valuable, you may consider supporting us. Any and every donation helps. If you're not able to donate, even just prayers, good energy, putting something on your altar, praying that we would be supported again, and also that we would use any success we have to reinvest in our mission, which is to make astrology accessible for people. So all of that helps us as well. So we really do appreciate any and all forms of support. So one thing that I find valuable, I've talked about different things that I am very purposeful about including in the development and creation of daily content year round. One of the things that I'm very passionate about is including laughter. As you guys know, my sense of humor is weird, and I often, the kind of laughter that I include is laughter at myself for the crazy things that are running through my head sometimes that I just accidentally blurt out or whatever. But I really do believe that there's an intentionality behind making sure that there is just sprinkles of lightheartedness, of absurdity, of self-effacing humor, of just laughing at life, right? Being able to reflect on things astrologically in a way that is sometimes just really fun and funny. I find that a mix of serious, devoted, spiritual content along with daily, everyday life and laughter makes for a really special recipe. So if you value that as well, then just know that there is always a conscious way in which I'm thinking, gosh, I haven't laughed for a while. It's time to say something crazy. And there's a kind of rhythm in which you will find that episodes pop up where there's just a lot of laughter. And that to me is something that I really value in the work. And if you do too, please consider supporting us. Again, you can find the link in the description of the video, in the comment section, or on the website, nightlightastrology.com. Pick up a cool reward when you donate. Stick around after today's content is over to hear more about the rewards that we offer. Okay, on that note, let us take a look at this Mercury Cazimi and let's refresh on the meaning of a Cazimi. And then let's talk about 5 things to watch for given this particular Cazimi. Oh, you know what? The wrong chart popped up. I was just doing a live stream not long ago, and one of the guests' charts popped up. Okay, let's get ourselves oriented here. I'm not sure how that happened. Let's go to, here we are. Okay, we're on Thursday, December 5th. Here we go. Sorry, guys. All right, there it is. Now, today we are looking Thursday, December 5th. We are looking at Mercury retrograde at the 14th degree of Sagittarius, where, of course, the sun is also located. If we speed this up by 1 day, you'll notice that by tomorrow, Mercury has crossed over that 15th degree, is already all the way back at the 13th degree. So it's a very fast transition. And let's just take it now hour by hour. I'm going to exclude everything but a few planets from our view. So as today unfolds, Thursday, December 5th, notice that Mercury, very speedy, moving along into the exact conjunction with the sun. This is by about 8 p.m. Central Time on today, Thursday, December 5th. But if you continue speeding this up, you'll notice that if we take it back, even by tomorrow morning, December 6th, Mercury's already at that 13th degree. And then the sun has moved on to the 15th degree. And then before you know it, Mercury by Friday evening into early Saturday morning is already out of the engagement range of 3 degrees of separation, right? So let's take this along a little bit further. By 2:53 a.m. Central Time Saturday morning, Mercury has already passed through the 3-degree engagement range and is already starting to emerge gradually now as the morning star. Now, what happens almost simultaneously, right, is the sun goes right into an opposition with Jupiter. That opposition is a critical part of Jupiter's retrograde. Any of the superior planets, when they turn retrograde, will go through an opposition with the sun before slowing down to turn direct and eventually conjoining the sun. The sun will then conjoin them again. So a critical part of the cycle, synodic cycle of Jupiter and the sun taking place right now. But what's more interesting to me is the fact that after that 3-degree engagement range separates about December 10th, then just a couple of days later, Mercury stations December 15th, and then its direct motion will take Mercury back through the opposition to Jupiter by December 26th, 27th. So remember, we talked about this maybe a few weeks ago when we talked about Mercury and Jupiter being in mutual reception by detriment and opposition, and we reflected on that quite a bit. I'm not going to go through all of that again. I'm going to give you some things to watch for, but it is important to remember that this Mercury Cazimi moment is a part of the ongoing opposition with mutual reception and mutual reception by detriment that's taking place between Mercury and Jupiter. We can't forget that context because it's very important to some of the things that I'm going to say on our what to watch for list. Now, here we have, if you just back this up just a touch, yesterday, we looked at Mercury opposing Jupiter and that opposition coming through. And today we'll find that we have the exact Cazimi coming through. So again, we see Mercury and Jupiter as an inherent part of the story of this Cazimi. All right, so just to give us that context again, now let's talk about a Cazimi. A Cazimi happens within the synodic cycles of all planets with the sun. So it happens when the sun, if it's the faster moving planet, and the sun will always be the faster moving planet applying to the conjunction of Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, the superior planets that move slower than the sun. So the sun moving faster than them makes the conjunction. When it conjoins those planets go into the heart of the sun. That Cazimi moment is essentially a rebirthing moment at the start of a new synodic cycle with the sun. So it's like a new moon in a sense. When we look at the cycles of Mercury and Venus, planets that are faster than the sun, and the moon is like this too, those planets faster than the sun will conjoin the sun. And when they do so in direct motion, that typically is the starting point of a new cycle. Some people measure the starting point of the cycle during the retrograde conjunction. It's pretty subjective, if you ask me. Either way, you're looking at important moments of reset and renewal within the connection between the two planets when the Cazimi occurs. So one way of thinking about a Cazimi is it's sort of like a new moon for the planet conjoining the sun. This is really important because you may recall in the Jupiter-Saturn talk that I did recently, where I talked about looking at the sun trines to Jupiter, or looking to the sun trine to Mars in the Mars sun cycle as inflection points for the shifting of an ideal relative to Mars. So I said that the sun trine to Mars prior to Mars turning retrograde is as if the Mars is getting a new image archetypally that it will now revise and adapt itself to through the subsequent retrograde. So in many ways, the Cazimi moments are similar insofar as they're for Mercury and Venus, because they don't aspect the sun. They're only one in the same sign or in the next sign ahead, right? So you get like maybe 2 signs of separation. And you can't have a traditional aspect for Mercury most of the time, for example. So when does Mercury get that connection with the sun such that it can refresh and renew its archetypal, let's call it trajectory? It happens during the Cazimi. So translation, when Mercury conjoins the sun in a moment like this, it is as though, let's say, the mind, a mercurial thing, or writing or speech or communication or intellect or technology, all Mercury things, gets a new image of what is possible or what it wants or what it desires, or it gets an imprint of an archetypal ideal, which is what the sun is related to, something ideal and luminescent that is attractive to the soul. The sun was called daimon, or spirit, and the daimon was both a spirit of guidance, guiding the soul toward its desires or its destiny, but also daimon could be thought of as an image of desire that is like a spirit that attracts and takes us toward that image. And so when the sun and Mercury come together, it is as though it's something mercurial in our life, and maybe that pertains to the topics of the house it's in this case, Sagittarius in your chart, will be infused with a new sense of what it wants or what it desires, a new standard, a new image. And that is a powerful moment. However, we have to be very careful because there is a way in which the combustion process that is involved with the planet coming in close proximity to the sun, it was thought to be getting burnt up. And there's a way in which there's almost like a kind of passion and mania and drive that gets infused into a planet that is also said to at times greatly empower it. Like one of the images that's used is that a planet at the heart of the sun is given the seal of the king, or it's seated on the throne of the king, or that it takes on a kind of grandeur and real potency. It kind of gets loud, and sometimes there's a really kind of heightened or empowered sense of the planet that's at work, and you'll see it manifest in your life or in your psyche or people around you or whatever circumstances. And that can be a good thing, but it can also be kind of like a burning bush. It's like real intense and almost sort of, it can be kind of manic sometimes. You have to be really careful of that when planets are at the heart of the sun. I'll tell you a story about that in a minute. When a planet is at the heart of the sun, it is often also emboldened and empowered with a kind of authority or fame or notoriety or respect, or it can kind of command. It has more of a presence, and it can kind of command a lot of energy and attention. So those meanings, in addition to it kind of symbolizing the start of something new and a shift of priority or image for the planet, in this case Mercury, are nice ways of thinking about it. These are a lot of different ways you can work with a Cazimi. They're all meant to be different symbolic angles on the astronomical phenomenon that we can work with and reflect on in relation to what's taking place around the time of a Cazimi. Okay, so there it is for your consideration. Now, given that this is a Mercury in its exile or detriment in Jupiter's sign, planetary contrary to Mercury, and that Jupiter is opposite to it right now in Mercury's sign, there we have that mutual reception by exile and opposition. We talked about that at length in several videos now, about an opportunity for things that don't look like they should work together to come together anyway. It would be like, I think I told you guys a story at some point along the lines about how I had this enemy in grade school but we came together through our mutual dislike of someone else that was even a greater enemy to both of us. It's sort of like Jupiter and Mercury getting together through opposition and mutual detriment. Another image that I've used, and I heard another astrologer say this long ago, and it was like, planets in mutual reception by detriment are like two friends helping each other drunk home from the bar safely. It's maybe not a great image, but you get the idea. So we have a really interesting Mercury Cazimi moment where the Sun and Mercury are both opposing this Jupiter, and the mutual reception by detriment and opposition is at play. Here are 5 things to watch for given all of that context, and just working with the general signature of a greatly empowered Mercury in the middle of that context. So 1 would be mania and madness. Look, I'm going to go for the shadow right away. With Mercury kind of at the heart of the Sun in a Jupiter-ruled sign, in opposite Jupiter, I could see zealous, fundamentalist, fanatical speech, ideas, thoughts, debates. I could see an element of fanatical thinking and sort of exaggerated, irrational charisma and zeal and mania and madness at play. That would be, to me, maybe one of the worst possible manifestations of this combination. Just people who are passionate about ideas, thoughts, beliefs, ideologies, but who may be expressing them in ways that are fanatical or extreme or deluded or suffering from delusions of grandeur, stuff like that. Now, I also have to admit that I have a unique story that has deeply shifted my understanding of some of Mercury's Cazimis. There was a Mercury retrograde. There was a Mercury Cazimi in Sagittarius some years ago. And this, as Mercury was coming under the combustion and getting sort of burnt up and then coming through the heart of the Sun, there was a YouTube viewer in the audience who started contacting me personally through Facebook, sending me messages. I'm not really on Facebook anymore. We post there, but I don't personally use it. And they were sending me messages that were delusional, and the messages were increasingly agitated and delusional, and they believed that they were the reincarnation of Christ, and that I was to be like one of their main disciples, and they wanted me to go on my YouTube channel and share their messages, which were all really incoherent and paranoid, stuff like that. It was really sad. And I was really concerned for this person. And I noticed that there were some mutual friends, like, oh, I know some people that this person knows, how you can see that on Facebook or whatever. So I reached out to someone who I know well, who apparently knew this person, and told them what was going on. And anyway, this led to a wellness check being done on the individual. And unfortunately, this person under the Cazimi had taken their life. And so the delusions that were ramping up led to a kind of a decompensation, a breakdown, and unfortunately taking their own life. That really shifted things for me, because that Cazimi in Sagittarius, that was a great example of someone thinking, I am the literal messenger of God. Mercury, the messenger at the heart of the Sun, I am Jesus Christ, right? That's a perfectly fitting archetypal manifestation through mental and emotional sickness of the archetype. So when archetypes come through, and they can come through so differently, right? For different people and different situations and circumstances. But this was the first time I ever really understood why some ancient astrologers and even like medieval astrologers and so forth talked about there being almost like a kind of possessed state of a Cazimi planet. Like it becomes dramatically expressive. And when that's a debilitated planet, that can sometimes be problematic. For example, when you have a problematic Mars that gets into that conjunction with the Sun, it can be authoritarian violence. Like it can think like it's God with respect to violence and war and hostility. I am the God of war. Like so we can become possessed by archetypes. And it's almost always the case, in my humble opinion, in my experience, I can only speak from that, that people who have a lot of trauma and, are really dealing with some challenges in mental and emotional health, will sometimes the planetary archetypes are much more possessive, because it's like there's been damage done to the nervous system and to the mind and to how we cope and deal with. Like, a lot of us don't even recognize how fortunate we are to be able to cope with archetypes and to cope with the movements of the planets. I've just noticed that, especially I was a social worker and I worked for several years with adults who were diagnosed with schizophrenia. And, there's an openness, as well as sometimes an inability to deal with and develop protection and borders and boundaries around these influences or these presences, whatever we want to call them. So anyway, the reason I say all of this is because I would be very careful for whether, if you're someone who, has to really work on mental, emotional health, stability, rhythms, self-care, I would say to protect yourself around a transit like this, or a lot of intense transits, but especially ones with Mercury, because the nervous system, the mind, can become more open and the influences a little bit more overpowering in a Mercury Sun Cazimi, where Mercury is debilitated and opposite Jupiter. The potential for inflation, grandiosity, over the top extremes, kind of a manic kind of energy around this is there. That's a shadow. So it's something to be aware of. Now, I don't believe that all forms of madness and mania are bad. They are a very natural and normal part of creative people. I think a lot of times we diagnose things that are really just about how some people are creatively express themselves and are just wired differently than others, So the other thing that I would suggest around this one is just non-ordinary, non-normal ways of expressing ideas and thoughts that are maybe on display. For example, I wouldn't be surprised to see issues around advocating for better understanding of mental health and creativity or something like that with a transit like this. Now, number 2 would be vocalized oppositions. Mercury in Sagittarius loves to preach, and opposite Jupiter in Gemini, you may find that there is almost like a preaching and debating quality. We are advocating for things. We're passionately preaching, teaching, speaking, sharing opinions, loud, passionate, but also there's an oppositional tension. So watch for very vocal forms of opposition or debate, or kind of getting lit up by differences of opinion. This is something that could be amplified around this Cazimi, as well as this week with the Mercury-Jupiter opposition. So there it is. Number 3, charitable agreements and resolutions. Here's the thing. The mutual reception by opposition and detriment with Mercury at the heart of the sun could be the spirit of charity, the spirit of generosity, a spirit that says, hey, you know what? Even though we see things differently or things look like they're opposed, maybe there is some way in which we can come to an agreement or an arrangement or something like that. So I feel like there is this paradoxical heightened sense of disagreement, while also the mutual reception suggesting some ability to work toward compromise through creativity, originality, flexibility. So watch for that as well. I would almost like advise people, like, you may get way more out of a compromise right now than you can imagine. On the surface, it may feel like a defeat, but you may actually get a lot more out of this than you think. Number 4, magical discoveries, innovations, solutions. Anytime Mercury's at the heart of the sun, it can get struck by like the illumination of the higher mind. And for Mercury, that can mean problem solving, inventions, originality of thought and ideas, a magical moment of discovery amplified by the opposition to Jupiter, which can, in Gemini, deconstruct things and reconstruct them brilliantly. So I just wonder about this also being a moment where something that looks like it's a problem is addressed with something truly unique, original, and inventive, or a very magical sense of what's possible and what's being discovered. Number 5 would be a revision of ideas and process. Remember, Jupiter and Saturn are squaring. Mercury's participating in the Jupiter-Saturn square through its retrograde, again through its direct motion. That revision of beliefs and paradigms and deep structures is, in a sense, being triggered by this Mercury retrograde. And some of the most brilliant moments of shifting or changing, clarity of insight, and the way that that provides more context for the ongoing structural paradigmatic changes of Jupiter-Saturn might be happening right now. So keep all of that in mind. Watch, learn, listen, pray, all of the good stuff. I'll leave you there. Thank you guys so much for helping us on our way to our backer total for this year, our goal, 1,937 backers by January 1st. Find the link to donate and support this channel in the comment section, in the description of the video, and on the website, nightlightastrology.com. After I sign off, you can learn more about the rewards that we offer when you support the channel, including some of the best discounts we offer on our programs. All right. Bye. Hey everyone, thanks for sticking around. I'm going to tell you about the different rewards that we offer when you donate and support our channel in the year ahead. So you'll find a link to the Kickstarter in the description of this video, in the comments section of this video, as well as on our website, nightlightastrology.com. If you head over there, you'll see at the top of the page there is a menu item that says Kickstarter 2025. You can click on that and be taken over to the Kickstarter campaign page. So once you're there, if you scroll down on the right-hand side, you're going to see different pledge levels and different gifts and sales that we run as a way of saying thank you for your support. So among those, our most popular offering by far are the major discounts that we offer on our training programs. So if you are interested in studying astrology at Nightlight in 2025, whether you're a brand new student or a currently enrolled student who's thinking of taking one of our year 2, 3 horary programs, you're going to find that these are the best rates that we run on the entire year. And we do this as a way of both saying thank you and also of helping us raise funds to support the channel, our staff, and everything we do. So you'll see attend one Nightlight course there. That's about 50% off the total cost of the program and about $500 off the early bird rate. And then you'll scroll down and you'll see that if you bundle 2 courses together, the savings go way up. Bundle 3, they go up even more. I mean, the difference between the 2 and 3 class package is $200. So $200 more, you get 3 of our year-long programs. And if you get all the way to the 4 class pass, then you have all 4 years of our program. You can take them at any pace you like, renew them whenever you like. There's no timeline on when you use these class passes. And you will have all 4 years of content at about 75% off each of the programs individually when you get that bundle. So those are our best savings for sure. Highly recommend those. If you have any questions about our courses or programs, email us info@nightlightastrology.com or look at the website under the classes page, courses page. You'll find information about each of the individual courses we offer. And then if you scroll up, you're going to find some of our other programs that are greatly discounted. Ashley's Herbal Foundations apprenticeship course, which many people are interested in who come through our Moon Circle that Ashley and I lead each month. You scroll up, you're going to find our masterclass series for 2025, greatly discounted, as well as our Roots and Spheres Moon Circle, greatly discounted. There's hundreds of dollars of savings in each of those. So we really try to make sure that the Kickstarter acts as a good flash sale for all of our programs. You'll then find some really nice prices on previous archive talks, like our 2024 archive masterclass bundle, which is about 30 hours worth of content on specialized topics in astrology. You can see the topics listed in each of the bundles as you scroll through. 2023's masterclass bundle, huge savings on those and a lot of really great content. You'll see a few reading options as you continue to go from the bottom to the top. You'll see the 2025 year ahead mini reading. There's only 30 of these. These are individualized birth chart readings that I do, looking at the most significant transit in your birth chart for 2025. I record those personally. You'll then see that there is an Ask 3 Horary Questions option where you can get 3 horary questions to redeem whenever you'd like within the year ahead. Those are kind of yes, no predictive questions. Will I get the job? Will we get together? Things like that. Then you'll see the Astrology for Complete Beginners course is also discounted through the Kickstarter. This is a great 10 hours worth of content for people who are brand new to astrology. So whether that's you or maybe a gift for somebody else. And then you're going to see some individual master classes that are greatly discounted from the past year. So all of 2024's masterclass series are the archives of which 8 to 10 hours each are on sale. And then scroll up a little bit more and you'll see one of our most popular offerings, which are the year ahead horoscope readings. These year ahead horoscope readings include 30 to 45 minutes of a breakdown of all the major transits of the year ahead for each sun and rising signs. You get all of them with this package, which is a great deal. It's like 10 hours worth of content, 8, 9, 10 hours, somewhere in there. I haven't finished recording all of them yet. So as of the time I'm recording this, I'm anticipating it'll land around 10 hours. But yeah, anyway, so you scroll up, you'll see those horoscope videos will all be delivered to you right around January 1st when the Kickstarter ends. Scroll up a little bit more, you'll find The Oracle Speaks, which is my book, and this is being released chapter by chapter. It is a book about the inner experience of learning to speak with oracles, and it is being released chapter by chapter in both text and audiobook form, so you can listen along to my new book. And that takes us up to the Astrology of 2025 video. This, for your donation at the $50 level, gives you an exclusive talk breaking down all of the major astrological transits of 2025. I look in depth at some of the biggest things happening in the year ahead and break them down in advance. And that's the only place I release that video or that take on the whole year ahead. Finally, at the very top, the most basic level of donation, you'll see the Astrology of 2025 calendar. This is a PDF calendar we design and make that allows you to track and move along with the astrology as the year unfolds. This is also great if you want to track what we're going to be talking about week by week on my channel. You'll get a glimpse at the biggest transits of each day and month and week. And that will give you some sense of where we're heading with our coverage of the astrology on the channel as the year unfolds. So again, any questions about any of the rewards that you see, email us info@nightlightastrology. Link is in the description, comments, or on the website, nightlightastrology.com. Help us get to 1,937 backers by January 1st. We deeply appreciate your contribution. We try to make sure we have some really special rewards to say thank you when you contribute. All right, take it easy. Bye.